But you know what, man? They cared enough. Yo, what's up guys, Metaphor here, and I kind of just wanted to bring to light to something. I know a lot of people don't like Warzone right now, me included. You know, it's not really in the greatest spot right now per se. Obviously, you know, I'm just a little, emotional after, getting my account yoinked for 6 days, and, that kind of killed my passion a little bit. But what I did actually want to talk about is something that I don't think the game gets a lot of credit for right now, and that is purely just the fact that we actually have the best SMG meta we've actually ever had in Warzone history. Now, this is actually kind of crazy, and I don't ever see anybody talking about it. Literally nobody ever talks about it, but SMGs have never actually been that good in Warzone, to the point where we were even using ARs as our secondaries in Cold War. But like, we've had MP40 meta, the Sten's always been good, there was a hipfire PPSH meta, the Owen gun's been good for a long time, the Type 100 has been good for a long time, the Well gun was good for a long time, the Armor Bearer has always kind of been there pretty good as well, the Blixen's been very good for a long time, and now the Marco 5. Like, every gun but the Tommy gun has had its time to shine. And then if you go to other guns, it's like Modern Warfare had the MP5. What other gun did the Modern Warfare, what other like meta SMG did the Modern Warfare guns really have? The MP7, but honestly this was more of a primary weapon. And that's honestly it for Modern Warfare. We were just using the MP5, and now I'm not saying the MP5 sucked, because it didn't, but like, really? And then for Cold War, it did a little bit better. I'm not going to pretend like it didn't, but even Cold War wasn't that good. We had the MP5, which is only good for a short amount of time. The Bullfrog was decent. It was pretty good when it was good. The MAC-10 was probably the best SMG from Cold War, the most fun to use in my opinion. LC-10 was okay for a little bit. PPSH was never really that meta. I enjoyed it. It was actually my favorite SMG in the entire game, next to the MAC-10. And then obviously the OTS. I know a lot of people, or it's not a lot of people, but some people think the LAP is good. It's not bad, but really think about the guns you were seeing on that map. It was just the OTS and the MAC-10 when it was meta, and then you would also see the Bullfrog. I think most people couldn't actually control the MP5, so they stayed away from it. But like I said, I do think that, the Vanguard guns, I know a lot of people have a problem with the game. A lot of people don't really like Warzone right now. But imagine this SMG variety in Modern Warfare 2. I just think it'd be really cool, and hopefully we get some good variety going into the next COD. Let me know what potential SMGs you guys are looking forward to in the next game. I'm hoping we get a really good P90. I know the P90 was decent in Modern Warfare multiplayer, but I'm hoping we get like a really, really good top tier P90. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day. Peace. It just wouldn't.
Dropping into the AO. Your way.
A couple hours later, I got a brand new Korean account. And that might not mean anything to you guys, but Riot Korea is a completely different company than Riot Games. Riot Korea doesn't know who Metaphor is. They don't. They don't know me at all. So I had to message the people at NA Riot to help me get a new Korean account. And to get a Korean account, there is a lengthy process, a very, very lengthy process to get a Korean account, because it's run by a different company over there. It's not ran by Riot. And I was able to get a brand new account in Korea within hours, and it was due to my own mistake too. And you're telling me I can just be shadow banned on this game and receive no fucking assistance
Loadout drop headed your way.
for something I didn't do? What?
Gas is moving.
But NA Riot can get me a brand new Korean account? Within a couple hours? So they have to communicate with people who are 14 hours ahead of them in time. So time zones are not going to match up. Nothing's going to match up. But you know what, man? They cared enough. That's just people who care, bro. It's a big difference. Now, did I have a bigger impact on the League scene than the Warzone scene? Yeah, even though my numbers are on like YouTube and stuff are better on Warzone. Individuals impacted, definitely more on League. Definitely. Bigger impact on the game, definitely League. But man, my numbers on Warzone are good enough to be getting some help, and I got 0. Disgusting. People who work at Activision just don't give a Yeah, I mean, I know Riot has like a bad past and stuff with like, you know, treating employees poorly. I understand that. I'm not saying they're perfect. But you can tell that the people there are actually passionate to a certain degree. The people who work at Activision are just hopeless. They don't care about their game or their players. Which is why they give people creator codes for people who don't play the game. They fly people out to events who don't play their game. Everything. They're so out of touch and just terrible. It's literally insane. I'm not trying to say that I should be the one invited to these things. Because there's bigger people than me who aren't invited. And in my opinion, you know, when it comes to advertising a brand new game, a big part of it should be, you know, appealing to a demographic, right? Like, you want to appeal to people who are actually going to play the game. You definitely want to invite some people, a potential new audience, right? Like, if you get Nick, Mercs, Tim the Tapman, and Swag all in the same room, you know, they're kind of all appealing to the same audience, right? So you definitely want to have some room there, but like, you know.
Hostile drone. Watch the sky.
The problem is, bro, is like these people at Activision who invite people out to play their games early. Like, there's people who got invited to play Modern Warfare 2 early, and this is no flame to the people who got invited. If you get that invite, you're gonna take it. But like, these people don't even have like, these people don't upload on YouTube. They don't even have 30 concurrent viewers on Twitch. Like, why? Like, no offense, but why the f are they out there? Like, they're not gonna sell any copies of the game. They're not. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. They shouldn't be out there. Go get a representative from every country. Like, go get somebody from like Germany. Go get someone from like Montreal. Go get someone from like India. Like, get people like around the world. Like, try to sell your game. They're just inviting random ass content creators who have less than 10 viewers on Twitch and no uploads on YouTube because they're friends with the people who work there. It's disgusting, dude. It's literally disgusting. Like, so you can't even say it's about money because it's not. Because if they were all about the money, then they would just be inviting people who are actually going to sell their game. Right? So it's not even about money. You can't even say they're just being greedy because they're not. It's worse than that.
Enemy soldier nearby.
You know, there's people who depend on my opinion for a lot of things Call of Duty related, right? Again, I'm not saying I'm like God or anything, because I'm not, obviously. I'm not saying, oh, that's a good nade. Maybe I am God. Like, at the end of the day, when it comes to selling the game, which is ultimately their goal, I'm assuming if you get people to come play your game early, you're one, trying to get people's opinions who can sway, you know, customers, and two, you're trying to get good feedback on the game, right? Not only can I provide better feedback than majority of people, but I can also sell their game. Again, not just me. There's way more content creators that deserve the opportunity to go to these events than me. Like, so many more, bro. So many more. I'm not even talking about me right now. Like, I know I use me as an example there, but maybe in my YouTube peak. My YouTube peak, I definitely should have been invited. I was getting over 100K per YouTube video. Obviously, Warzone's kind of declined a bit, so only the top stayed up top. And like, you know, people who do like Rebirth and stuff, like, it makes sense, bro. I get it. But like, we're just inviting people to these events. We're unbanning people who, like, it's just weird, man. It's just so weird. I mean, no one should get no one should get wrongfully shadow banned. I'm not saying anyone should be, but like for example, if I'm shadow banned and Tim the Tatman is shadow banned, would anybody disagree that Tim the Tatman will probably get unshadow banned first? Would anybody in here disagree? I wouldn't. If my shadow ban got delayed because they had to unban Tim the Tatman, I would be okay with that. You know what I mean? I would be okay with that, dude. Yes, Tim the Tatman appeals to more people. Bigger. Yes, dude. Like, I get it, bro. And I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that. That makes sense, bro. If I'm in a restaurant eating, like a 5-star restaurant, and Tom Cruise comes in and he says, I want that seat. Guess what? Unfortunately, bro, I'm probably going to be getting moved. It is what it is, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way she works, man. But then it's like, when this other shit happens, it's just the opposite way, bro. It's like they're just intentionally ignoring somebody that should be qualified to get unbanned because of random things, random nepotism. It's very weird, man.
Recon mission.
I can't imagine the hiring process. Hey, if you're dog shit, you're hired. Like what is the requirements to work there, bro? It's literally insanity. Like, there's just no consistency. Ah, it's so bothering.
Nearby. UAV is out of fuel. Returning for resupply. Supply box identified. Marking location now.
What the hell are you doing, bro? Yeah, why have a working streamer mode but don't give it to anybody? Clearly the streamer mode works, right? So why does only 5 people have it? Oh, dude, a lot of people get shadow banned, bro. And I get it, bro. If they tried to cater to everyone that got shadow banned, honestly, they probably could do it. But the thing is I'm more verifiably, like, not a fucking cheater than your average player. You know what I mean? I'm top 5 in the world for kills. And I've been doing this for too long. I've also, like, been in multiple tournaments. Like I've done everything, right? Whereas if Billy Bob Joe 87 gets shadow banned, you know, it might be less looking into, or like they might not get the same treatment. But the thing is, I have like, I mean, I guess I technically could have just started cheating, but like, why the f would I? Like, if I was gonna cheat, wouldn't I be cheating towards like the peak of Warzone? Like, I already have the world record. Why would I start cheating now? You know what I mean? Like, I've already accomplished everything I've accomplished on this game without cheating, so cheating now just doesn't even make sense. Which, I mean, I guess would be the perfect cover-up for cheating, so I don't know.
Gas is inbound.
Oh no, dead here. Nope. My biggest thing that I wanted to do in League was to play pro, and I know I never technically played pro, but for me, I guess my thought was that I wanted to play pro. I'm not gonna lie, like, that's what I thought I wanted. But after acknowledging and understanding that I was good enough to play pro, that was enough for me. And I know that might not make sense to a lot of people who like don't know anything, but like, I got offered several contracts. I've accepted contracts. I was signed to teams. Things just didn't end up working out, and unfortunately, a lot of orgs are really, really bad. You are terrible. Which really sucks because I would have got more offers, but I had to, since I already signed with them, Since I had signed with them, I basically like refuted every other offer. With CLG, I literally was on the team until the day of the announcement of the team. Like, we were literally supposed to be announced to the team, the whole lineup. And I actually helped build that roster when I was there, because I went for an IRL tryout. So I went to LA and I did an IRL tryout. And I did really, really well. And then I helped build the roster that we ended up going with. And then, yeah, they ended up not going with me.
Airstrike on my target. This is Phoenix 3.
To be fair, though, that was when CLG was in its, like, nightmare phase, so I honestly kind of dodged a bullet. Like, it really wasn't that bad. But the problem is like, I ended up essentially losing other offers, right? Because I was committed to them. So, like, if someone reached out to me, like, basically a lot of people in the scene knew I was on CLG. So, like, when people would be considering, like, a player, they'd be like, oh, let's pick up Metaphor for jungle, right? But the people in the know would be like, oh, no, he's already on CLG. And then, like, that message never gets sent to me. You know what I mean? I never get that message. I never get that offer because I'm already off the table to them because CLG is supposedly signing me. There's like kind of like a little meetup in like the cafeteria and like everyone just talks. This is like the last day of Scattering Grounds after the final event and everything. I had a really good showing in the final event. Anyways, Team Liquid, the people at Team Liquid are like, hey, you know, we'd like to have a meeting or whatever. I'm like, bet, dude. Like, this is sick. And I go have a meeting. They literally give me a contract that they aren't even like legally supposed to give me. And they're like, hey, like, you know, hush hush about this, but like, we're gonna pick you up. We're gonna pick you up.
Gas is moving in.
So sign this shit. So I signed to them, was committed to them, had a good showing. Everyone thought I did well, and it was all great. And then it ended up not happening because they ended up going for. I can actually tell you the reason why I didn't get on TL. So even though I thought I was getting on TL and whatever. Basically, TL at the time was going for like a really, really like expensive roster. So, but they didn't know. Basically, they were going for a very expensive roster, and their starting jungler was like Smithy. And at that time, he was kind of like on his way out from the scene, and he wasn't a very motivated player. Like this guy was really good, but he never really practiced, right? He's like a legend though. Like he's actually insanely good. You know what I'm saying? He's insanely good, but like. He really, like, never practiced because he was, like, good enough to beat everybody, but, like, not good enough to perform internationally. But, like, it's kind of one of those things where it's, like, someone knows they aren't going to be replaced, so they don't try. You know what I mean? Like, they know they're not going to be replaced, they don't try as much, maybe. Or they just don't care about the game anymore, but they're still good enough to play it. They basically, like, they wanted an academy jungler. They basically were spending a ton of money on their roster, right? They're spending a ton of money on their roster, and they didn't want to have a situation where, man, if this is Smithy's last year of playing good, and then we spend all this money on this roster, and then he sucks with the roster, then we need a jungler who can actually play at LCS level. Like, we need a jungler who can play at LCS level to step in, which makes sense. Like, you wouldn't want to have a roster worth millions and millions and millions of dollars, and then your current starting jungler doesn't work out, and then boom, you have to bring in your academy jungler. Like, it makes sense, dude. Like, I wasn't even that mad about it. Did I get screwed over? Yes, I did. But, like, you know, I can look past that from, like, an emotional standpoint of, like, me, that was my first ever chance to actually play pro. Like, I can look past that because, yeah, dude, like, that would be bad, dude. And honestly, that might hurt my career more than anything. Now, if I was a complete stomp, like, if I completely stomped, it would have looked good for me, right? But hardly ever do people come in and just start curb stomping everybody. So, and the crazy thing is no. And then the next year I also got offered by Team Liquid, and then it didn't end up going through. So, yeah, it was rough, dude. It was really rough. Yeah, I ended up getting paid by CLG for several months of, what's it called? I basically got paid for several months of work. because they basically fired me without actually me getting a chance to play. So they had to pay me, basically.
Vector set for airstrike. Phoenix 3, strike inbound.
Yeah, it was like Severance, right? That's what this one's called. So I secured a little bag right there. So yeah, I was pretty upset about that, but wasn't that upset. Warzone came out, and within like the first month or whatever of Warzone, I was already within the first like 2 months of Warzone, I was already making more money from Warzone than I was from League. It all worked out.